Hi everyone, welcome to the Wilts and Berks Canal Trust YouTube channel. My name is Andrew Vidler and I'm one of the volunteers here at Pewsham branch. So I have with me today Mr Dave Maloney, and Dave is the chair of the Melcham, Chippenham and Cairn branch of the trust. And we're actually standing, myself and Dave are actually standing in the foundations of the new Carpenters workshop. So Dave is kindly going to give us an insight into the history of the project and where we are today.
Thank you, Andrew. Viewers will have seen that lovely overfly that you did of the Pewsham Lock site. The Carpenter's workshop was a structure that we knew existed, but we didn't know where it was on the ground necessarily. One of our volunteers kindly looked at an old tithe map, did some scaling work on it and pointed us in an area where we thought we might find the remains of the building. As luck would have it, we did. We found a bit of the floor. It was a brick floor originally, and it will be a brick floor again. Sadly, most of the floor had been destroyed over the years, and there was only a tiny 3-foot square patch of brickwork left, which we will reuse within the building somewhere. So the Carpenter's workshop is one of 3 major projects on the Pewsham Lock site at the minute, that being the top lock bridge, the dry dock, which is at the other end of the site, and then the Carpenter's workshop. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on which way you look at it, our fundraisers cottoned onto the fact that we're also going to use it as an educational facility, and mention education to people who want to donate money apparently is a really good idea. So that caught us out a little bit. We had money for a Carpenter's workshop that wasn't on our radar really, so we've pretty much stepped up to the mark and delayed the dry dock project at the minute, mainly because we don't have sufficient volunteers joining us. So if you're watching this video and you've got some spare time on your hands, please do get in touch. You need no skills. The volunteers working on site at the minute have all learnt new skills while they've been with us, and it's a wonderful and beautiful place to work, as you can see. So interestingly from us, back in the day the Carpenter's workshop was larger than any workshop that we'd known about really, 17 metres long by 7 metres wide, which is a pretty chunky piece of kit back in the day when the Wilts and Berks Canal company didn't want to spend very much money on this particular project overall, and we believe that it would have been involved in the process of repairing boats in our dry dock and also building boats. We've got some evidence that boats were built in the bottom pound and then slid sideways into the pound, but there's no evidence at the minute that we're aware of another Carpenter's workshop along the whole 70-mile line of the canal. So this workshop probably did all the Carpenter's work for the whole 70-mile line, and that would have involved repairing boats, sorting out lock gates, and any other timber work that was actually necessary. You can see by the work going on at the minute, although the Carpenter's workshop was probably just sat on the soil and mud back in the day, building regulations in the 21st century are a little more than they were back in the day, so we've had footings put in and block work. What's going on at the minute is the volunteers are preparing the floor of the main workshop building, which will be a brick floor again, in preparation of the panels arriving on site, which have been constructed off site and put together on site. You can see a little bit of concrete. That's in what we're classing as the modern area. That's an additional bit to the 17 metres, and that's where the toilets, storeroom and the kitchen will be hidden behind a very, very old wizened door which we'll be constructing. And the idea of the Carpenter's workshop basically is to make it look as if it did in 1860. We're already scouring the countryside and for tools that would have been used back in the day, but it's also going to be used as an educational unit, as mentioned earlier. So we're having to hide items like electrical outlets, powered lighting, and data projector fittings within the building, so you won't see them when you walk in. on a nice summer's day and see this lovely 1860s interior. From a volunteer's point of view, although the panels are being made off site, we're still going to have learning new skills with the construction of the panels on site here, and then of course the roof. We'll be dealing with the roof. We've got a grant from local Chippenham Town Council for solar panels on the east side, which is the side away from the towpath, but we're also looking at solar tiles. If we can find those at a reasonable cost, we'll be using solar tiles instead of solar panels, and the rest of it will be Welsh slate, because we know that Welsh slate was used for the roof because there's plenty of it lying around. Modern day Welsh slate is extremely expensive. It's very labour intensive to process it, and of course when the tiles are on the roof, we're going to immediately try and disguise them so they don't look so new. So there's in-house chatting about the best way of actually doing that, and what materials we should be using on the roof itself, tile wise. The rest of the timber, the building will be clad in Waney edged larch. There won't be any screws or nail guns being used, so every panel will be nailed on by hand by a volunteer, and one of our volunteers is a chippy. He's going to make the bespoke windows that we need with the help from the Calne Men's Shed,
Yeah.
who've agreed to allow us, or volunteered for us to use their machines to make up the actual window frames, which will be then put together on site and then glazed. So it's all finished. It'll look like in a year's time, when the cladding has started to go a bit grey and the tiles are looking a bit older, we hope it's going to look pretty authentic building on our Pewsham site.
David, that's absolutely fantastic. I had absolutely no idea of all that stuff, so hopefully that's all been useful to you. And as David has said, I'll reiterate, you know, we're always looking for volunteers, so please come along. It's a fantastic thing to do. You can be dirty boots, what do you call it? Dirty boots?
Clean boots.
Clean boots is
Yep.
Yeah, the green boots, dirty boots, all kinds of boots. So yeah, come along and join us. Thanks for watching. Welcome, Dave. Tell us what you know.
Thanks, Andrew. Well, what do I know? I know there's a cement mixer just started up.
I think what we're doing. Shall we go somewhere else?